It's become an epidemic with only a few real cures, and once the damage is done, it's hard to recover. We're talking about online imposters. Now there's a move underway to make it a crime.
It goes down in the DM. It go down. It go down in the DM. It go down. It go down.
This fake Match.com profile page used a real picture of former Miss New York Megan Jurenski. She was shocked and hurt when she read the X-rated description.
It was very humiliating and shameful. I felt very like I was at a loss of control over my reputation and what was out there in social media, on the internet, about who I am as a person.
Social media experts say women are disproportionately the targets and the perpetrators of online reputation attacks. Facebook is testing a program that would alert people when someone is creating a phony account in their name, and it's getting a thumbs up from users.
Why not shut it down if they're spreading, negativity and hate and putting your name, like slandering your own name?
People would like to know that, there's something out there that's going to help them secure their identity.
Jurenski had to hire a lawyer to get the profile removed. Because of that experience, she's launched a campaign called In Plain Sight to combat online harassment and cyberbullying.
We need to catch up with the times. We don't have adequate laws around things like this.
For Bronx City Council member Richie Torres, the harassment came from a fake Instagram account that contained derogatory, anti-veteran, and racist comments he would never make.
The lesson here is that whether you're an elected official or an everyday person, everyone can be a target of bullying on social media. Anyone can have their identity casually stolen and dragged into the cesspool of social media.
Right now, penalties for phony posting are few and far between. But here in New York State, Senate Bill 5871, proposed by State Senator Kevin Parker, could change all that.
This bill would essentially raise the penalties and give judges the discretion to make this a D-class felony, which would in fact, make it up to a year in jail penalty.
There's obviously a lot going on with this issue. Now let's find out what our panel has to say about it. Joining me is Audrey Rose. She's a singer and songwriter, repping New Jersey.
Hello.
Hello from Long Branch. Hashtag Jersey Strong. So big shout out to all our Jersey viewers and listeners. And her new album is Chapter 1, Guns N' Roses. Maybe you saw her video that she did with Troy Ave called That Love. Her new single is called Play with Justin Love. And I think we can get a couple seconds of it. Let's hear a little taste.
Not ordinary people. We are both widows. We are. Oh, I used to be so superficial. With you, I'm good with my hair tied and no makeup on. I'm saying, baby, I'm doing things that I'm so against. Like asking you where the hell you been. Why am I jealous of your friends? I'm selfish, I admit it.
That's amazing. Your voice is incredible. I'm so glad you're with us for the show. Audrey Rose. And also joining us, Hocus 45th. He is repping the Bronx, Castle Hill. He's a rapper. Latest single, you're really tearing up the streets with this. Roll Call. And you got a show coming up that you're headlining in Atlanta.
Yeah, on the 31st, I'm headlining the show in Atlanta.
That's fantastic. Getting that ATL love.
ATL love and ATL money.
They do seem to do well down there.
Yeah.
Hocus, thanks so much for being with us. We really appreciate it. Also with us is Dr. Elisa English. She's a clinical therapist. Her website is AskDrElisa.com, and she helps individuals deal with all kinds of trauma. Now, this issue of online impersonation, Dr. Elisa, it causes people a lot of stress. Tell us about that.
Absolutely. Anytime you intimidate, bully, or impersonate, you take on someone's identity, or you are imposing to be someone that you're not, you develop distrust and fear around engaging with people in this virtual era that we're living in. A lot of our interaction or human connection to people is online. And so in some ways, we automatically trust what we see online and in social media. So it does create a certain level of distrust. And again, are these people predators? You just don't know who you're dealing with when you're dealing with someone who is imposing to be someone else.
Right. You don't know who it is. And then for people who are in the public eye, Audrey, like you and like Hocus, where your careers depend a lot on the social media, people interacting, the fans feeling like they get to know you and they're very close to you. Audrey, have you ever had an experience, like a bad experience?
I absolutely have. I actually had a fake page interacting with a celebrity, and it was actually Trey Songz, the real one, and yeah, it was embarrassing to me. I actually wanted to take legal matters because I felt like it was damaging my reputation. So, and I mean, from text messages, online, she was using my real name. So, yeah, it got super out of hand.
So what did so this person she sets up a fake Instagram account?
It was actually a Twitter account.
A Twitter account using your name.
Yeah.
And then she tries to connect with Trey Songz, who's one of the biggest artists out there right now.
Even went as far as arguing on social media with other female models. It was pretty intense.
Acting like he was her man.
Well, acting just, it's like she wanted just to, you know, stir up an argument or something. I don't know.
And then how did you find out about it?
Someone actually added me on my Twitter account.
Your real Twitter account?
My real Twitter account asked me if I had 2 accounts. And I'm like, no, they added me. They shared a link on my page. I clicked on it, and it was a blog with a whole bunch of mess.
A whole bunch of nonsense. And then what did that do to you, like, emotionally? Did you feel out of control?
Yeah, definitely felt like I was out of control. It bothered me because you don't know who's behind it all. It's like, do I know this person? Is this person close to me? Why is this happening? So I just wanted to get to the bottom of it. Until to this day, I would really like to know who is behind all of that.
Because it's hard to find out.
It is hard to find out. It is hard to find out. But all I can tell my fans and people out there who are not sure, I mean, it's 2016. I may not have that little blue check next to my name, but you know, there's FaceTime. There's, you know, I'm there. You know when a page is real, if people are added in the pictures. You know, so I.
Right, we're going to talk about ways.
That was identity theft. I mean, totally.
Oh, no, absolutely.
That was identity theft.
Right, and then the person, if they're even found out, right now they don't face consequences. We're going to talk about that a little bit later in the show. But Hocus, the whole hip-hop game, you're right in the middle of it, and you're out there on the streets. It gets a little crazy sometimes.
Yeah, as far as the streets, man, they be wilding on Instagram and Facebook and all that. Like, one time these kids I know from Queens, I ain't going to say no names, but they was on, like, Facebook beefing back and forth, and they like, yo, so what's up, meet me over here, and they actually really went and they met each other up and had a shootout. Like, it's all on Facebook. You know, they get on Instagram and Facebook, and they be flashing guns, and they don't know that. You know, I was caught in a conspiracy case in 2008, and in New York State they implemented a conspiracy in the first degree, and this hold a minimum of 15 to life. You know, I went to trial on it, I was acquitted, but this is what they're doing. They're using their Facebook and Twitter accounts, and they tapping into it, and they seeing all this, and they present. See, Facebook wasn't popping, or Instagram when I went to jail. It was just MySpace. But they never used none of that. They had like phone tap wires or whatever. But now they implementing all this. I know a kid from Harlem who just got caught in a conspiracy case. They gave him 60 to life. He blew to the conspiracy in the first cause of stuff on Facebook. Everything they corroborating the story, everything they're saying.
People don't realize that, but they do, and that's a big part of law enforcement now.
Right.
Is they monitor Facebook postings, they monitor Instagram, because it's basically like you're putting it out there on a public platform, and it doesn't matter. It's like you're putting it on a microphone, shouting it out to everybody. But Dr. Elisa, this feeling that kind of anything goes, how dangerous is that?
Extremely dangerous. Identity theft, imposing to be someone you're not. You put people in a very dangerous and risky situation. You also ruin reputations when you are out there pretending to be, you know, either one of them or either one of us. I mean, it's totally disrespectful, and it says something about the well-being of the people who are even behind it, and whether or not they're emotionally stable.
All right. Well, coming up, we're going to find out what our guests have to say. Should social media imposters, people who defraud people with a fake identity, should that be a crime? We'll find out what our guests think about that when we come back.
Jail? I've been in jail, and I don't think somebody should sit in jail for that.
We invited you here today to get your honest opinion about this new car. To keep things unbiased, we removed all the badging and logos. So what do you think it is?
Reminds me a little bit of like an out.
Now, there is a bill that right now is in the New York State Assembly where they're considering making it against the law to pretend to be somebody else and then threaten someone or steal their identity or do any kind of harm like that. What do you think about that?
No, I don't think it should be a D felony.
You don't?
No, felony.
Why?
A felony is too harsh. You know, like put somebody in jail for that. No, maybe you know, tell them that they can't make no more social media accounts or they can't be on social media anymore at all. I don't know how you could track that though, or fine them or something like that. But jail, I don't think I've been in jail, and I don't think somebody should sit in jail for that.
For something like that? What about if they totally ruin someone's reputation? Because you know, Hocus, employers now they check your social media pages. Like if you're going for a job, they're looking to see what's going on there.
Yeah, well, if it's a fake, like I had people make fake pages of me before, but obviously you could. Well, your situation is different. Like you had somebody make a fake page and he really thought it was you.
But they use a real picture and make a fake page.
Yeah, they use
and they're using her real name.
So, yeah, I mean, in my opinion, I definitely think there should be consequences for it, especially if you're an adult. There's consequences when you do things that are not right. And you are stealing, you know, you're stealing my identity, and that's not okay.
Dr. Lisa, what about that? Because right now it's kind of like the Wild West.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime you're stealing someone's identity or ruining someone's reputation, you really can't measure the amount of trauma that she experienced as a result of that particular situation. And so there should be some level of consequence. I totally agree with her, because perhaps not the severity of it should be considered, and it should be based on the situation. Because again, I'm very passionate about young people and their, you know, growth experience and development, and that they often do things and engage in things that aren't necessarily healthy. But when you're over 18 and you're taking on, you know, identity, and you're going out looking to sell someone tickets to whatever it is you're doing in the name of someone who has built their reputation, it takes a lot of work to build your reputation and a minute to destroy it.
Hocus, is your concern if they made it a crime where there was like a jail sentence, that this might not be applied evenly to everybody?
Right, I think so.
Tell me about that.
I just think that, you know, they'll target certain people that, like, you can't, I don't know. I just don't think that it should be a crime and people should face jail time for it.
What about like a fine or something like that?
I think like a fine. I think like a fine maybe, or like I said, they shouldn't be allowed to, you know, be on social media like that. Like how they do the
no data plan.
Yeah, like how they do the sex offenders and stuff. Like, you know,
like a registry.
Yeah, like a registry. Like, you know, and if you do get caught trying to be on social media again, then, you know, you just, I don't know.
When we come back, we're going to find out what our guests have to say about this whole catfishing epidemic. Is an online relationship a real relationship, and how can you tell if things are not really quite right? We'll be right back.
I think that's a great idea, because there's so many people out here catfishing people, using other people's accounts. I think people need to be alerted.
Yeah, it seems like an appropriation of somebody's image and likeness. So yeah, that feels a bit like a crime.
Some people are impersonating people for fun, then you have other people impersonating people for money. So I think it's a good idea.
You should have to look at the facts individually of each particular instance and try to craft a legislation that makes sense.
You ain't gotta say it, you ain't gotta say it.
Online impersonation, is it time to make it a crime? We're going to find out what our guests have to say right now about this catfishing epidemic, and also the nature of relationships, how relationships have changed, and people that defraud others just for attention and whatever other kind of sick thrill they get. We're going to find out what they have to say about that right now. Now, this whole experience of catfishing, where somebody pretends to be somebody else and then tries to trap them in a relationship. Sometimes they try to get money from them. Other times they just want the attention. Dr. Lisa, what's behind that?
Loneliness. People are socially isolated. I think now in this age of social media and virtual relationships that people have become very socially disconnected, and I don't know, I believe that that's hurting our community in many ways as a society, that that human connection, nothing can replace the human connection and the ability to vet someone. And you vet someone by energy, by seeing them, by engaging with them. And to just say that someone put up a picture and somehow some kind of small little bio about them and now all of a sudden I'm in love, I think there's something to question about their mental stability.
But people get fixated by that.
Yeah, they say people are not who they supposed to be, you know? Don't see that? Not who they
No, that's great. That's great.
I have women hit me up on Instagram and then they don't look the same in person. That's catfishing, right?
It's just a bad.
Like, tell us, like Hocus, give us
I'm a catfish.
like she said she was a vegan and she turns out to be like, hey, I'll meet you at Crown Fried. Because that was tell us what happened.
No, you know, just they look good on Instagram. You know, they all dolled up, maked up, got their hair done and all that, and you see them and they just don't look the same. They got the little leg up. You think they look all nice or whatever, shaped nice, and they just.
So you was catfish.
I was catfish?
That was catfish.
Well, I actually had someone interact with a fake page who reached out to me, and they were speaking to that page for a couple of years.
This is a guy?
A guy from Chicago.
Wow.
So
Yes.
I'm like, honey, he's like...
The fake guy's having a fake relationship with the fake page.
No, the guy was real, having a
fake.
relationship with a fake page of me. So he reached out to me, and he said that I was acting different ever since my mother passed away last year. Now, my mother passed when I was 5 years old. In real life. So I'm just like,
I'm sorry.
I'm like, dude, you're being catfished. And it was just like, okay, now you're going overboard. Like, you know, mentioning like real life events that
and very
I'm affected
very
by.
personal and very deep and intense.
Right. So that's when things just get out of hand.
So he was interacting with the fake Audrey Rose on this fake page for like a long time.
For a couple years. And I just feel like, where during that relationship did you not want to Skype, Tango,
Right.
FaceTime? There's so many things.
But that's the point. It's like if it just continues, if it's just online, Dr. Elisa, there's nothing, you know, there's...
Right, so I don't want to necessarily sound antiquated because I do certainly understand that today relationships, and many are formed online, and some people
via text messages,
and
FaceTime.
They have healthy relationships according to the various sites out there that promote relationships or connections. However, there's something that still sits with me, that human connection is important, and I think in a world with almost 8 to 9 billion people, if you're having a difficult time connecting with people just on a day-to-day basis, there's something to be said about your ability to connect to people overall. So something is wrong. Something is definitely not right about that. So I'm not necessarily discouraging sites like Match.com or whatever. I don't know.
No, a lot of people have met their spouses and love.
At some point,
but at some point, you need to meet someone.
There has to be a progression.
Absolutely, absolutely. I do not want people to get away from the human connection, because when you are sick or when you're going through something, it's nothing like having someone there that you can reach out and touch.
Dr. Elisa, what do you think people should do to, you know, make sure they're not part of this in any kind of way? Are there certain the people who are the victims of it? Is there something that they're doing, especially in the catfishing situation, where they're falling for this fantasy?
Yes, I think that we need to really self-reflect and look at whether or not we're emotionally bankrupt in a way that this is the only way we find ourselves engaging in some kind of relationship with a significant other of some sort. I think that we need to take an inventory of whether or not we are equipped with the kind of skills needed to engage in relationships in the society, in the community, with people, as I'm sitting here next to Hocus, that we need to strengthen that. We should go back to what we've done 20, 30 years ago before social media, and we need to not take social media so seriously. It's just another way to communicate, but it's not the only way.
I want to thank all of you for being with us for this episode of Street Soldiers. Audrey Rose, singer and songwriter, rapper Hocus 45th, and Dr. Elisa English, clinical therapist. And remember, use your mind. It's your best weapon. I hope it's your only weapon. I'm Lisa Evers. Let's push for peace, and also let's remember R.I.P. for Fife Dog.